So what we want to talk about here in this session is really, we've heard quite a lot about the sort of opportunities coming from technology, innovation, data, etc. But really would want to get your sort of sense and practical understanding of how is the data analytics helping to deliver better, services for the customers. So maybe let me kick off, Martyn, with you. What does in the first place, what does a successful, good customer experience look like for you? And what are the things that consumers care the most about?
I think it's really simple. If a customer needs to contact us, they can contact us in their channel of choice, get the same experience wherever they contact us, and preferably we know about their needs before they know, so we move from a reactive sense in our business to a proactive sense. And it's really that simple, just to keep it simple. I've worked for Thames for around about 4 years, and data has allowed us to understand the complexities of our organisation in probably a way that we didn't. And it's opened up things like how do we improve our experience between the different components of Thames. So yeah, it really is just simple omni-channel experience wherever the customer wants to be in that journey, and to make sure we can be proactive.
And within that, what are the biggest? Where do you think you face the biggest challenges in terms of delivering that? What is the most difficult part for you?
I think at the minute it's probably organisational. So we've got we have relationships between front and back office functions, which add cycle time and communication challenges back to the customer. We have where we need to involve field as well. So we have one of the highest smart metering presences across water. So there's quite a lot of field work in the dynamic that we have to resolve. That is tricky in the way we're organised at the minute to make sure that relationship works, right, and you get a single voice back to that customer to manage their experience.
So the internal complexity.
Yeah.
And Gaurav, from your sort of experience, is there anything that makes water customers and consumers' expectations sort of different to other utilities? And where do you see that sort of the biggest challenges in delivering that sort of experience for customers?
I think utilities per se, probably the expectations would be similar. I think you'd say, go home, if you turn on the tap, you expect safe, reliable water 24/7.
Right.
Same with electricity, you turn on the switch, you expect electricity. But I think slight variation or difference would be with respect to the holistic impact. So if I'm a water customer, I would look at the environment impact my service provider is doing. So with the recent news and the coverage around the water utilities, the impact it's making to the environment, I wouldn't want the cost of the safe, reliable water to me be at the cost of the healthy water body. So that's a difference I would expect. Then other is in water, we are bound by the geographical areas. If you are dissatisfied in electricity, you can probably switch your provider. But in water utilities, it's directly proportionate to the trust I have in the water provider. So it's the impact is significant from an experience perspective as it translates to trust.
Absolutely. And where do you see the sort of biggest challenges?
I think if we refer to, I think comms still remains a big pain point. It has been a pain point, proactive communication, as Martyn mentioned. There's a lot of good work that's happening with water utilities. We're working with 8 of the water utilities, which is the primary aim is getting the comms faster, quicker, more proactively, anticipating the problems as opposed to fixing it once the problem has happened. But if you see the recent study with CCW, 42% of our respondents still say comms is our biggest challenge, is lack of comms from our water providers, be it bill explanation, be it operational or network challenges, road closures or any impacts happening. So the experience they're expecting proactively is still not there. I think that's still a gap that water utilities will have to work to.
Absolutely. And Martyn, you mentioned there that it's already sort of data analytics is helping you a lot, sort of understanding both your, internal operations, but also then communicating and delivering for the customers. Can you give us a sort of example of, this how this works in practice?
So, yeah, sure. In Thames, we've probably in the last year and a half gone through a bit of a transformation on the retail side where I work. We didn't have the basics in place on data. We didn't have a unified data warehouse even. So we've established that over the last year and a half through a transformation program. It's allowed us to connect the customer together in data, and you've heard digital twin a lot today in terms of the way you understand inventories and systems and locations and networks. We're also trying to do that with the way we interact with customers. So we've got a complete picture now, and probably for the first time, a really good internal mirror of our performance versus the external metrics. So, we are in a regulated environment where we have measures of experience, quite widely across our consumer, wholesale, developer services areas. And we have those measures now internally proxied really tightly. And we've started to leverage our data predictively to start to understand things like how we resolve customers and how we communicate much more effectively than we've ever done, arguably. What it's starting to give us is the ability to understand where our processes are not optimized, where the communication internally between our departments is not quite working properly, and also then how we leverage those things to deliver those outcomes.
Right. And that's sort of the element of predictive sort of analysis. Have you made a progress in that area? Are you now how does it look like?
Yeah, so we've set ourselves 3 or 4 main objectives all around the customer. One is to start to understand segmentation and demographics. So things like, how do we communicate to customers? Right. You have different needs of different demographic groups. So that's really important for us. Secondly, to understand where we can leverage social tariffs and things like that, and vulnerability support. There's a lot of machine learning modeling we're doing across that space to understand and predict vulnerability from the markers that we've got. And I guess we're also looking at things like account health indexes for customers to understand where we can intervene proactively. So things like where a customer might get a high bill shock. It's no secret in the market that we're in a new regulatory cycle and prices have increased. It's been a challenge, I think, for the whole water industry. So to understand where we can try and intervene and help customers proactively, as opposed to just drop a bill shock on their desk almost, is really, really important. And we're at the start of a curve for that. But I think it's something that will help Thames progress through this AMP in terms of the service offering that it gives to customers.
Right, absolutely. And so in terms of getting to that point of proactive consumer customer care, where are there any examples from either sectors or utilities where what's necessary to get there, and then sort of what does it look like, right? What is the sort of, not, I don't want to say end point, right? But where are we heading? What do we want to see the experience to look like?
I think it's if you look at utilities, we always aim at it's an industry which is considered stagnant in terms of always learning from others. So you'll always thrive for experience you get from your banking apps or from Amazon in terms of proactiveness. But if you look at the gap currently, it's significant. And if I would say, what do we do differently to bridge the gap? I think multiple dimensions. If you look at the business operating model, we operate still in more of silos of wholesale to retail to asset management to operations. We are not still looking at customer journeys end to end as digitized on how we want to give the experience from a customer journey perspective. And technology legacy or traditionally in utilities has been built more in these silos of business units, focusing on the outcomes and the KPIs and the mapping to the ODIs for the regulator. And hence the challenge has been in creating that connected ecosystem. So technology is playing a part in achieving that connected ecosystem, digitizing the customer journeys to give that end-to-end seamless experience. But I think there'll be more changes required on cultural aspect, on business operating model aspects to actually reap the benefits of what technology can do. Martyn mentioned about the hard work that's going at Thames on the unified data model. But I think to get the journeys right on a unified data model, there'll be a lot more effort required on the change aspects as well. So it's progress, but I think we'll take time to get there.
So it requires a lot of cooperation and change in culture as well, right?
I think it's important as well, just to pick up on a point there, to make sure that, you know, sometimes you have to recognize that you can't do everything internally and on your own. So finding the right partnerships across industry, and TCS have worked really well with us on a data science perspective, but finding the right partnerships to leverage and accelerate is really important. I think, you know, we're building quite a strong data science capability within Thames. One of our challenges, you know, data is one part of the equation. We've got operating model organization to kind of leverage across that. But the thing that gets missed quite often is data quality, because you can't be AI first, you know, and you can't be AI first if you don't have underlying great data quality to drive AI. So, you know, we are not finished with some of the challenges that we've got, not just in Thames, but across industry, in the way data quality needs to improve about where our assets are, you know, what properties we're serving, who our customers are and what their characteristics are. There's lots of work still to do.
And what would you need to do in terms of improving that data quality? Is it sort of building partnerships, working cross sectoral, cross industries, or where do you see a sort of a lever of improving that?
It's a little bit of a mix of all of those things. So, you know, yes, you need to establish partnerships, you know, with other agencies and other companies, etc., to do that. You also have to leverage external data sets because they tell you things that you don't necessarily know yourself, and they tell you things about your customers that you may not necessarily know yourself. So there's a broad range of things that you have to plug together to have an effective strategy, I feel, there.
Right. And do you ever come across the sort of challenges in terms of data privacy or the concerns from consumers or customers about their sort of use of data?
Yes, you absolutely do. One of the risks that we've got across industry almost is you know, there are some commercially available data sets like credit risk. You know, you cannot use that sort of data to profile your customers in that way. But what you can do is an indication in a segment or a locality that says, you know, that area may need social tariff, may benefit from social tariff or community engagement type actions. So yeah, you do have to be careful that you don't profile.
But finding the right way to use. Yeah. And Gaurav, from your perspective, what is the sort of one thing that you would like to see, you know, changing to really enable these sort of partnerships development that we spoke about?
I think the enablers are there, to be honest. So if you look at Ofwat itself is incentivizing water utilities from their innovation and collaboration fund. So there's a significant pot available for partnerships to be made and come up with innovative ideas on solving some of the industry challenges and problems. Very recently, UK Power Networks and Thames Water collaborated on the Priority Service Register. So those are the aspects, again, they are happening now, but would we want to see them in full force? Definitely yes.
Right.
Are there more opportunities for collaboration and working together between utilities? You're seeing initiatives like creating a single unified asset register across UK. Those initiatives would obviously mean that there's more open data exchange, sharing of data for the right reasons, for providing the right customer experience to our end customers, plus bringing in efficiencies on the investments that each water utility is doing. I think those efficiencies can be brought down by looking at it in partnerships and learning from each other as well.
Yeah.
We have similar challenges across in energy or gas and other utilities. Even in telecom, it's a connected sort of an asset life cycle. So there's a lot to learn. We are probably heading in the right direction, but yeah, more to do.
I mean, that's fantastic. At least we're heading the right direction. We are over time, but I wanted to check if there is any sort of pressing or urgent questions before we break down. No, I think that's all right then. So just wanted to thank you both. I think this is a really great discussion. So thank you, Martyn, Gaurav.
Thank you.
Really great having you. And thank you, everybody. Please join me in thanking our panelists.